Hello friends, I welcome you all in 11th session of your Physics Paper 1 syllabus. This is, I think, the last session of your Unit 1, in which we are going to discuss something about the sound. We have conducted 3 sessions related with sound. In 10 years of my teaching experience, I taught various subjects like classical mechanics, mathematical physics, thermodynamics, statistical mechanics, astrophysics, plasma physics, electrodynamics, and much more. But it was the first time that I was dealing with the sound. I was dealing with the acoustic. So, this was acting as a small barrier for me. But now, as there are many books to refer, there are many videos to learn, this acoustic is looking like very interesting subject to me. Not only the various references and videos on internet that helped me, but this my own piano also worked very well to understand the concept of sound from physics point of view. This was my piano that I brought before, I think, 8 years, thinking that now I have completed my study, I got a good job, so let me start learning piano. But unfortunately, I couldn't learn it well. But today, this piano helped me a lot to understand the basic, I can say, language of music. Basic language of music. When I have started reading the material associated with sound, I was reading the words like notes, tones, harmony, melody, rhythm, intervals, scales, major scales, minor scales, and I would just get confused because I haven't taught acoustic before. And so it was just like a Marathi girl trying to learn a Kannada language or Bengali language in a week. So the music itself has its own language. So this is the piano that helped me a lot to understand the language of music, in which there are different alphabets, not like ABCD or not like the K, K, G, G, but there are separate alphabets of music itself. So before starting, let me play something. Not so perfect, but let me try. Okay, very famous song, very much famous song. So whether I have played the song as it is the original song? No. I have just played the important part of that particular music, of that particular song. Now if I go over the keyboard of this piano, what it is looking like? A combination of white keys and black keys. Is there some regular pattern of this white and black keys? Is there like a white key, black key, white key, black key, white key, black key, white key, not black key, but next is the white key. Thus, this pattern of black and white key is not the same, or it is not like after one white key there is black key, one white key, one black key. There is something different. So what is the different? Let us look like these two black keys, these three black keys. Along with this, it form a set. It form a set of this key covering the two black keys and covering next three black keys up to next white key. So this particular set is forming an so-called octave forming. Octave. So these two black keys, three black keys, successive three black keys, and the corresponding white keys, it form one octave forming. Similarly, there is next octave, there is next octave, and in this way. So we can say a piano is very good piano depending on how many octaves are there in your piano. Because pianos are there as a toys also for kids, in which we will observe that there is a single octave. Rather, there will be no octave in case of toy piano, but piano size will be different depending on how many octaves are there. Octaves. Okay. These black keys, 5 black keys and corresponding white keys, it form an octave. Now this one is also octave, this one is also octave, this one is also octave. So how to determine that we are dealing with which octave? So in that case, each and every key has certain name. Each and every key has certain name. If I play this key, okay, and the same white key on another side, okay, something is different between this G and this G. The G is the name of this key of that particular octave. I will explain. So this difference is nothing but the difference in the frequency of that key. The frequency of this key is different, frequency of this key is different. In this way, the frequency and hence the pitch of that particular sound is going to be increasing one. So each key is associated with some value of frequency. Okay, so this particular key of different frequency, this particular key, we call it as a note. We call it as a note. A note, it is a key or it is a sound of single frequency. Note. Okay. Now let us consider this key. I will press it for many times. Like this is first time, this is second time, this is third time, and in this way. So have you observed some change? Yes. This is different. This is different. So I have pressed the same note, but what my ear sounds like, two different sounds. So what I have heard is the tone. It is the tone. In layman language, the note and tone are termed to be the same things. There is nothing different in between note and tone. But we, the physicists, we must know that a note has some absolute frequency. It is something that we play. We play this key of particular frequency. So this is the note. But what we hear that determine the quality of that sound or timbre of that sound, the duration of that particular note, this affect on our sound that our ear hears. So what we hear, we call it as a tone. Remember, note and tone. Both of these terms are something that are having a single frequency. But note is we can say it will be either a symbol. You can observe here, it is a symbol like these symbols, these musical alphabets, or a tone is something what we hear. And tone it depends on the duration of that particular key, how much time we have played that key. So depending on this duration, the quality of that sound changes. What we called it as the tone of that particular key. So this is about the note and tone. Now, whenever we listen some music, it is not just sufficient to play with a single key. But instead, we use some combination of keys like this will produce some pleasant sound to me. So when I have to play some music, I have to use more than 2 notes, more than 2 tones, we can say. So pressing or using multiple notes, generally more than 2, 3, using or playing these multiple notes simultaneously, it produces a pleasant sound. That sound we call, or a chord, we call it as a chord. A chord is a combination of 2 or more notes. So when we play 2 or more notes, we form it as a chord. Now there are many keys, so there will be many chords. There are much more permutation and combinations are possible here, but not all combinations are very pleasant to our ear. Few combinations form a pleasant sound, whereas few combination doesn't form a pleasant sound. If you look carefully to any serial or a movie, in that movie there is a special sound for happy moments. There is a special sound for sad moment. There will be again a special sound for something thriller, something horror. So all these things, all these combination of key decide the surrounding. So whether it is happy mood, sad mood, thrilling mood and all. So a chord is divided into 2 classes like concord or discord. If the music coming from that combination of chords, if this music is pleasant one, we call it as the concord chord. Whereas if the music is not so pleasant to our ear, we call that chord as the discord type of chord. Okay, this is about the chord. Now the next concept that we must remember is the musical interval. So musical interval is nothing but the ratio of 2 frequencies of that particular keys. Suppose I have to select, let me select this key, this key, and next one is this key. And if I ask you what is the interval between these 2 keys, then you should say it is just like the frequency ratios of this key to this key. So musical interval is nothing but the frequency ratio. It is the frequency ratio. We called it as the musical interval. What about the musical scale? Musical scale is some definite arrangement of keys. It is some definite arrangement of keys that produce music. Like just I have played. So this particular combination of key produce a pleasant sound to me. So this particular combination we called it as a musical scale. Obviously there are many keys, so there are lot of chances to create different musical scales. What are the types we will see in detail. So this is about the musical scale. Now let me explain the terms melody, harmony and rhythm of particular music. So just before few minutes I have played a song. So as I have played this song, you may have got the lyrics of that particular song. Okay, this is a very well known song by Balasubramaniam sir. So this was the unique identity of that song, that you remember the lyrics of that particular song. This we called it as the melody of that particular song. It is the melody, the memorable part of that music, of that song. We called it as the melody. Okay, but the actual song is not just the combination of this key. In actual song, there are many instruments that are also played alongside these keys, so that the effect will be much more pleasant song. So apart from the main music, apart from the main lyrics, there are some side-by instruments that add some music to that particular sound at the same time. At the same time I am playing this tone, but at the same time there are some another music instruments also that are adding some sound to that particular song. So that additional source, which may be in the form of tabla, in the form of drum, in the form of dolki, that or jazz, so that additional sound provide the harmony to that particular melody. So the harmony is, you can say, it is a supportive part of that particular melody to make or to create a very pleasant song. This is the difference between melody and harmony. Now, what about the rhythm? Many times when we see the various musical challenges on TV, many times that examiners say that you have missed the rhythm of that particular song. So what is the rhythm? Rhythm is the duration of that particular notes. Like, this is the tone. Now I will press the same keys but with different duration. Okay? There is some change between the previous music and the music I have played then after. So what was the change? The change was that the duration for which I have played that particular key was different for two sounds. So this duration determines the rhythm of that particular scale or of that particular sound. So I hope you have understood these basic concepts or these basic words of music, like note, okay, tone, it changes the duration of pressing that key, pitch, the frequency associated with this key. This one is different pitch, this is different pitch, okay. Chord, playing more than two notes at a time, chord. So what will happen if we play more than two notes at a time? It will produce more and more harmonics and overtones that will changes the texture of that particular music. Okay, chord. Musical interval is nothing but the ratio of frequencies of that two particular keys. Musical scale is some definite arrangement of these keys to produce a pleasant sound. A melody, that is the original texture of that particular song. Like melody is the core part of that particular song. What we play along with the melody to give a more effectful song, that side by instruments or side by music, we called it as the harmony. Okay, I hope you got the basic concepts of this music in a side by. Now in our side by lecture we will see all these things in a quite elaborated way and more important from the physics point of view.